Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am here this morning with one of my sweet friends who is one of my biz besties who has influenced millions, literally millions of people in this world already. And he's on a mission to influence more people by helping them master their credit. Welcome, Dave Albin.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning. I have to tell you, you gave us a list of things to do on episode 1 of this series, and I did it. I went through and I made sure that, yay! And so I feel like I've already got a win out of this whole little series because, what you said to do, I'm already implementing. And I love that you're giving us something to actually do and not just talk about.
Cool. Well, I'm very proud of you because that's like the number one thing, right? Is you get information, and if you don't do anything with it, then guess what? It's just information that goes off into the sunset. So kudos to you for that. That's really awesome. And the tip that I want to give today is going to really bounce off of what you guys, some of you have already done. And that's when you went and you looked at your credit report. So right now, if you use Credit Karma, I want to warn you all of a couple of things. One, never buy anything off their site. That's the reason they're luring you there with this score. And I won't go too deep into this now, but what you saw on your score, Kim, was called a Vantage score. The credit companies out there, the banks, the mortgage lenders, they don't use Vantage scoring. They use FICO, FICO, FICO score. You can get a FICO score by going to myfico.com. In fact, one of my constituents actually worked for myFICO, and he also worked for Equifax. So he's been an expert witness. He's testified close to 500 times in the industry just because he is an expert witness. So the other thing that what you'll learn is that when you're out there on some of these sites, let's say you pulled up your report and you saw something negative, and you go, oh my gosh, I need to dispute this. This is not mine. It's not this. It's not, and you start freaking out. Well, if you're on if you're on Credit Karma's website, it says, oh, just dispute it right here. Well, here's a couple of big no-nos that you never do. So you want to make sure that you follow me on this very, very, very carefully. This is absolutely critical. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, dispute anything with the credit bureaus or a debt collector online, by fax, or by calling them on the phone. Because here's what happens that most are not aware of. If you do it online, you're going to see like a 2-page, well, here's the rules and terms if you do it this way. And what you don't, and who's going to read it? People buy a house. Over 90% of the people that buy a home sit down and sign all the paperwork, and they never read it. Mm-hmm. They never read any of it, right? They don't want to read it. They want that American dream. They want that house, and they're going to do whatever they can to get into it.
And certainly, even if they read it, though, they wouldn't understand it.
You'd have to be a mortgage attorney and to understand it, which is interesting. And I'll come back to what I just talked about. You never dispute here in a minute. Most people don't even know what the word mortgage means. And I know you and I had this discussion, and you kind of went, "What?" Well, it's true, right? The word "mort" comes from the word mortician, right, which means death, and then the word "gage" is French for pledge. So yes, mortgage means death pledge. Welcome to America. So there it is. So anyway, if you read the fine print, if you dispute online or by fax, or you call them on the phone, you give up all legal and arbitration rights. So you have no recourse, none. And if you call the credit bureaus, let me tell you something. They are recording all the calls. If you call a debt collector, they're recording all the calls. And they're not doing it for quality assurance or quality control. That's what they say. But they're doing it to use it against you, just like that. That's what they'll do. So and their operators are trained. They're trained to get you to disclose, admit, do all these things, because there's nothing that's in their communication with you that's for you. And you better be crystal clear about that. And to think that is, just it's not good. In fact, a lot of the members who come to us and they buy the book and they become a VIP member and they join our Facebook group, all of a sudden they're like credit experts, right? They read the book and they've got just about enough information to be dangerous. And they go, well, I'm just going to cut out these steps. I don't know why they did that. I'll just go dispute it over here. And, I have to come back and go, really? You think you are smarter than we are, the experts behind the scene here? What are you doing? You're creating a situation you can't get yourself out of. So I just want to make sure that your listeners know from the get-go, we have a way to do this. There's a process to doing this. Yes, if you want to go fast, you're going to have to slow down, which, you and I both love that saying. And so it's really true here. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And some of our people, it took them months, maybe years to get their credit to where it is, where it's bad, whatever happened. And it's not going to be corrected overnight. It's just not going to happen. It takes weeks, sometimes months. As I mentioned, when I started, when I got here, I needed a cosigner to pay cash. I mean, my credit was bad, right? I had 14 derogatory accounts and I had 4 public filings, which is pretty daunting. And 10 months later, using the steps in that book and following it to a T, they were all removed, all of it. And so, and it doesn't really matter what's on your credit report. Because if it's a judgment or a lien or a bankruptcy or a derogatory account or slow pays or late pays or the account was charged off or it's student loans or it's, mortgages, foreclosure, it doesn't matter. The rules and the regulations, the laws of the Federal Trade Commission, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Collection Reporting Act, they have to comply with these laws, and they don't. Because here's the thing, fix on failure, and they get it. In fact, I have a friend of mine who's a debt collector, and he told me straight up, when they go to debt collection school, they know they're violating rules and laws and regulations. They know it, and they don't care because here's somebody that's down and out, right? And here comes the wolf. And they use fear and strife and intimidation and guilt. And they're highly skilled. They're really highly skilled salespeople. It's what they really are. And they're selling you on that you're a deadbeat and that you're not right and that, all these things. And that's just a bunch of crap. Because as we discussed yesterday, bad things happen to good people. Medical conditions, people get sick, people get in car wrecks, people lose jobs. There's catastrophic things that can happen to people that is going to affect their credit, and it was not their fault. So that's just part of the game here. So my buddy came back and told me that when they go to school, the debt collection school, that they're told that they say, look, you need to take X amount of dollars and put it over here in a fund. Because if you run into a guy like Dave Albin, you're going to lose. He's going to get you in court and you can't defend it because you've got no proof of claim and you've got no evidence and you have no contract. There's no legal or lawful proof that you're under any legal or contractual obligation to pay the debt collector. But that's not what they'll lead you to believe.
Well, and I have to say, because I'm a kindergarten princess and you have to take me through this slowly.
Yes, ma'am.
So that I can actually follow what you're saying. I think the thing that I've taken from so far is that I don't want to dispute it on the app. I don't want to dispute it on the phone. I don't want to dispute it online.
Nope. Or fax.
Or by fax. So what do I do to dispute something? Because I'll be honest, I found 3 things on mine when I did what you told me yesterday. Right. I found 3 things on mine that are not mine.
Right. Okay. So those things that you found, were they administrative mistakes?
I don't know. I don't even know where they came from.
All right. So, well, when you, I know you have a book on your way. So, and you have a PDF version. So we'll go in there and I'll go in there with you and I'll show you, there's a couple ways to dispute. There's different things that you're disputing. But if you have, let's say you have something on there that's just totally not yours, right? So then you're just going to dispute that with whoever's reporting it to the Bureau. So we call it our P1 letter process. And so you're going to send that letter And you're just going to put in your name, their information, whatever they're reporting. And here's an interesting thing. A lot of times when they report something, they won't report the entire account number. They'll put in X's. And then people ask me all the time, well, do I need to go research what the actual account number is? And my answer is never under any circumstances do their work for them. You're going to dispute the entire account. It's their job to figure out what's wrong.
I see.
Right? So we never do their work for them. So we're just going to send them.
You don't tell them specifically anything. Nope. You just dispute it in general.
I'm disputing it. Right?
Yeah, but that's really important to know for people like me who think that we need to, give the 12 reasons and the explanation for those things and, be very drawn out about things. That's a very good tip this morning.
Less is more. And that's what a lot of members want to do. They want to get specific. Well, this is wrong and that's wrong and this is wrong and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All you're doing is helping them. All they'll do is go back and fix it and they won't remove it. Right? So that's not what we want. I'm disputing the account, period. Here's what it is. And it's your job to fix it. Now, see, the other thing is when you do it that way, you can catch them in a lie. Because if they come back and say blah, 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 and that's not true, then we're going to take that evidence and we're going to show the the Better Business Bureau that they lied. We're going to show the CFPB, the Consumer Protection Organization, the federal organization, that they lied. We're going to notify the Attorney General in their state and your state that they lied. So then it's ollie in free. So now they're looking at you going, I don't know that we like Kim very well. She's starting to annoy us. And so delete it, get rid of it. And so that's part of the thing here. Yeah, you become somewhat of an administrative terrorist, if you will.
Here's something I'm thinking also. What if you are not administratively skilled as far as what if that's not your zone of genius? What if it's really, your zone where you struggle really hard?
You mean like Dave Albin?
Well, here's the thing is we promise tips on this series.
Yes.
Without them having to buy anything.
That's correct.
And I understand the value in the book. I've got the PDF part already. And I understand the amazing stuff that's in that book. And I encourage anyone who can to get it. But for those that maybe cannot today, what can they do that you're saying today without the book? What tip can you give them to start that process so that they don't get themselves into trouble?
Well, I mean, if they have a credit report and they've got challenges, let's just say they've got some bad marks and they've got challenges and so on, there's only so much I'm going to be able to do with the free tips that they're going to be able to utilize. All the stuff that I'm talking about here that I'm going to go over for the next couple of days, the stuff that's practical, they can do, they can use, they can go forward. But if it goes deep, they're going to need the book. There's no way for them to get out of the situation they're in without having the full impact of all the knowledge and wisdom and strategy, if you will, and process that is taught in that book, because everything is sequential. You're going to do this. And I'm going to get back to your admin question in a minute. But you're going to do this. And then if they do that, you do this. And if they do this, you do that. So now it's a strategic cat and mouse game where they don't know that you're sitting back here with experts behind you that created the entire process. And you're moving and you're funneling them down like this to one spot where they can't get out. And so for me, when I started and when I bought the book, because I am an administrative mess, we have a product called the Automator, and it was like $100. And what the Automator did, it's a software program, and then all I had to do was open it up, start my process. So let's say I started with this one derogatory account. I put in my information, I put in their information, the dates, all that. It spit out the letter in a PDF format. And then I send it certified mail with return receipt. You've got to have return receipt. You want that green card coming back that they got delivered. That way, if I walk in the courtroom, I've got a judge and I can show a green card. Not that you're going to have to walk in the courtroom, but because I came out of a fight in court, I just that's how I think. And then the system is sitting there waiting for you to come back and tell it what happened. They did this. So you put that in and it goes, oh, okay, now you send this letter. Oh, they did that. Okay, send this letter. So again, the system is standing by waiting for you. So what it did for me is with 14 derogatory accounts, I still only did 7 at a time because I just didn't want to be overloaded. So it made it so easy, so organized, even for me, who I'm a total administrative mess. And so I could I started a file with that debt collector and the letters went P1, O1, here's the first one, here's the second one. So I just kept everything really organized, and it kept me on the groove. It kept me from not going outside and coming back and trying other things. And, it kept me doing exactly what the book taught me to do. So administratively here, for them to do something, well, they can communicate with me if they have questions. I'm sure we can work something out. We can get something figured out, whatever it is for them. I just want to make sure that now that they're actually looking at the reports, and they may go outside Credit Karma, they may go to Experian or MyFICO or ScoreSense, or there's a whole bunch of different vendors out there that will provide scoring. The 2 things I want them to know now is that there's a FICO score, and FICO scores are what banks use, what mortgage companies, what car loan companies use, credit card companies use. Vantage scores they don't use. And what you're seeing on a Credit Karma is a Vantage score. We don't really care about the score because Credit Karma, basically anything they say could be 40, 50 points off either way. So what we want to do is but it does give you a pretty detailed report, and that's what we're using for free here. And that's what I wanted you guys to have.
Yeah, I've already been offered 3 credit cards and a loan just from yesterday. So that is one morning I will say that Credit Karma has already offered me loans.
And you don't want to accept any of those offers, because if you read the fine print on those offers, they're not in your best interest. I'm going to get you to a point, again, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to get you from, you didn't know that you didn't know, to getting you to a point where you know that you know. And so I'm going to teach you how to do business with credit unions, which are nonprofit, and they're not Wall Street driven banks. I'll teach you how to get credit cards and use them to your advantage and get points and mileage and hotels and all kinds of stuff and offers that are out there, but they only offer them if you've got scores up in the 700s. They don't offer them to people in the 600s. They want people with excellent 5-star credit, and that's the ultimate goal. So this whole process, this whole system, the whole dynamic of the whole credit industry, the whole dynamic changes once you step into the realm of what I call the 700 Club. And once you get into the 700 Club, again, the whole ball game changes. So the upside and all the benefits and the kickbacks and all the stuff that these guys offer you are pretty incredible. But you got to know how to play the game. So
today's tip, I just want to recap, because we're out of time. Anytime we're talking, we're to the end of our time always right off. The tip today is do not do anything online on the app. Don't dispute anything on a call. Don't dispute. Only dispute in writing with certified mail, with a return receipt, and do not say why you're disputing it. Just write the letter as you dispute it, period.
Yeah, you would. You would. The letter's already written, so it's in a PDF format or whatever. Let's say you wanted to dispute something, Kim. You have your PDF format, right? So you could go back and you could say, hey, Dave, it's such and such a company, or this is what's on there, or whatever. So then once you tell me whatever it is, then I can have you go back, pull your PDF, copy and paste, put the information, create a Word doc, and then get all your information in there, and off it goes.
Well, I can imagine with like even just the 3 things I found, like from yesterday's tip.
Yep.
I can imagine like how much more I will find as I keep going, because it's crazy that it was that simple to find those things. So I definitely encourage everyone, if you did not watch yesterday's episode, go back and follow the tips from yesterday, and then come back and do the things for today. And then we will be back at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning with another tip and another thing that you can do this week that will impact your credit and cause you to have like a lot of things happen, not just the ability to go get a mortgage or a car loan, but you can impact your insurance prices and whether you get a job or not, like a job you're wanting. We have a mutual friend that actually was hired for a job, did not know her credit had some stuff on it, and was actually, when she showed up to go to the job, they said, "Oh, we can't hire you because your credit is not what it's supposed to be." And she had no idea that they were checking credit. She had no idea any of that stuff. So this can impact you in ways that you don't realize. So Dave is here to help, you get past some of these hurdles and help you, really pay attention and learn. And, as always, we're here to help you create a sexy business for a sexy life. And with bad credit, that can really take the sexy out. So we are here to help you. Yeah. So thank you, Dave Albin. We'll see you in the morning.
Right, guys. See you in the morning. And by the way, tune in tomorrow, because what I'm going to teach you tomorrow, just so you know, is how to protect yourself so people can't steal from you. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, really good stuff tomorrow.
This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business Team. We'll see you in the morning. Love you guys.